Hello, and thank you for joining us for our 2017 Cub Scout Resident Camp webinar. We thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Adam Moore. I'm our camp registrar. I'll be facilitating this webinar this evening. Along with us, we have Nate Todd,
Resident Camp webinar,
who's one of our key administrators this evening. And we also have Evan Lineberger, who is a fellow camp registrar as well, who will be with us this summer. And we have our camp director, Keith Bobbitt. Just to let everyone know, if you have questions for us, that you can submit those questions in the live chat feature that's to the right of your video feed on YouTube, or you can submit a question via email by sending your question to registration@ravennob.com. So we thank you for joining us. We hope that a lot of folks are with us tonight and that we get some questions and get some things going. We can't wait to see you at camp. We'll get things started with our camp director, Keith Bobbitt.
Thank you, Adam. And welcome to our webinar for Cub Scout Resident Camp for 2017. I hope that each of you have received a copy of our Cub Scout Resident Camp guide. We have mailed those out to all the unit leaders. There is also a link on the website where you can download a copy of that. If you'd like for me to mail you one, please contact me at the Boy Scout office in Winston-Salem, and I'll be glad to drop you one in the mail. Or I can get one to your district executive, and he can bring them out to the round table. That's getting ready to happen here in April. Just let me know, and we'll try to have those available for you. What we're going to do over the next few minutes is go through the leader's guide and just cover some of the steps in here so that everybody is up to speed with what is happening at camp and how we're getting ready for a great week of Cub Scouts up there this summer. Let me mention just a couple things that are happening in the camp right now as we prepare for the summer. We always have different projects that are taking place and so forth. Over the winter, Dave and Jeff have been working diligently on our camp log cabin. It's been kind of the central building of the camp for decades, way before it was even a Boy Scout camp. And they've gone in and done some major renovations to the building, and it should look great for this summer and be a great place to live for our senior staff. And we look forward to having those renovations completed. We are also, probably one of the biggest things we've undertaken in quite some time is extending electrical power to the different campsites in camp. We have worked with Duke Power and our electrician and Dave and Jeff, and David Haymore. They have put electrical power now in every campsite in camp with the exception of Sam Houston. And that'll be hopefully next year, just because of the way the grid lays out. But we will have power, if everything works, we'll have power to every campsite except Sam Houston when we get ready for summer camp this year. So that should help. The way that works, there will be a gang outlet in the picnic shelter of each campsite, and then there will be lights also overhead in the shelter. So where in the past you've had to have a troop lantern or what have you there, you will now have lights there in the picnic shelter of those fixed picnic shelters. We still have a couple of campsites with tarps instead of picnic shelters, so the power to those sites is connected to the bulletin board in the sites, okay? Those are the major things we've got going right now. There's a lot of work happening in camp to make the camp ready for the OA Conclave that's coming up in April. One of those projects, and one also that will contribute for summer camp, is we've removed a number of trees in different campsites. There were quite a few oak trees, red oak trees particularly, that had signs of decay in them. And we've had a logging company come in and take out those trees. So there's quite a bit of brush here and there that we're trying to get taken care of, but no doubt there'll be plenty of firewood on the ground when your Cub Pack gets there this summer. Let's take just a few minutes and go through the leader's guide, and we'll answer your questions as you have them. Please, as Adam noted, send those to us, and we'll try to hit those as we go through the evening here. In looking at the leader's guide, as you put on the page, preparing to come to summer camp or resident camp, it starts off with the fees. The resident camp fee for Cub Scouts from the Old Hickory Council is $135, $145 for leaders from for youth from outside of the Old Hickory Council. As that works along, the first payment of $50 per scout is due by April 25th. And then the balance by May 23rd. So work with those dates, and Nate will talk with you in just a moment about how all that works as you get your leadership and your boys in place and we'll try to get everybody ready for the summer. The registration process is on Tenaroo again this summer. We have several new PACs that are joining us, so this will be their first time at bat with that. But a lot of PACs that were here last year are already familiar with the process. We also have updated the rosters that are on Tenaroo. So that's a big step ahead for us. The leaders in camp, we require at least 2 leaders per PAC to be in attendance with the group. And that ratio grows, of course, as you have additional boys. And we want to make sure as Cub PACs come in that we've got plenty of adult leaders on hand to help with the activities and the camping atmosphere, make sure everything's fun, but also very safe while all those boys are in camp. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Nate and let him talk about the registration process. Nate? Text one out here, Nate.
Nate, you're muted.
Sorry, it might help to unmute everybody. There we go. Anyone that's been to camp before as a PAC, either last summer with Cub Scout Resident Camp or during Parent Sons, has done registration through the system that we use. As Keith mentioned earlier, it's called Tenaroo. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about the stuff when your PAC logs in to register, how y'all do that. Every Old Hickory Council PAC already has an account. If you don't know the username or password, please send an email to registration@ravenknob.com and request that information. Please do not create a new PAC because then we'll have to go through and clean all that up and delete the stuff. We don't need multiple PACs for every, multiple accounts for every PAC. You have one, it's been assigned. If you don't know the username and password, we'll be happy to provide that for you. Just send an email to registration@ravenknob.com and one of us will send you that information back within, usually about an hour or 2. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you how you would get to there. When you go to ravenknob.com or oldhickorycouncil.com, either of those websites will take you to the same registration process. Oldhickorycouncil.org, excuse me. You'll come up here to the top right, put in your username and password, and click login. All right, that's going to take you to your login page, which looks like this. This right here is a test account that we use, so that's why you will it will not show up anything. When you log in right here, you'll probably see, if you attended resident camp last year, you'll see a video that shows. You'll see a video that shows Cub Scout Resident Camp Session 1 2016 archive. So you want to register for Resident Camp this year. So if you'll click on this bold event, Cub Scout Resident Camp Summer Camp, and it will change up here. You're going to hit add event registration, all right? Obviously, you're going to want to click on Session 1 2017. You don't really need the archive. The reason we keep the archives there is for if there's any requirements that were completed at camp, you'll be able to go back and look at those records. So you'll click continue. Every camp, if you bring a den chief, if your PAC has one and they're coming to camp, every PAC could have at least one den chief, only one. If you have, let's say we had 10 youth, we're going to bring 10 youth and we're going to bring 5 adults. All right. You'll fill out that information here. It'll show you registration fees and all that stuff down here in the bottom. If you have any specific registration notes, like need power for CPAP machine, which most every campsite has those now, so that would be, you can fill that information in that registration notes section, and it will alert the admin team of those requests. Next tab you'll come to is the campsite. You'll choose your top 3. We cannot obviously guarantee that you're going to get any of your top 3, but we'll do our best to get you in one of your top 3. A lot of this just depends on how many PACs bring, different things and all that stuff. So we can't guarantee it. We try to do our best to get you one of our top 3, but we'll do our best, and that's all we can promise. And then you'll hit save. That will bring you into this next thing. A campsite deposit is required for each of your scouts, and it's going to tell you how much you need to add to your cart before you can register them for their classes. So in this example, the deposit due is $550. So you would add that deposit, and then you would come over here to your cart and check out. Now, obviously, I don't have a payment in here right now, so let me add one really quick so I can show you this. In your cart here, you'll have two options. You'll see a credit card or e-check. Now, I have several other ones because I'm under administrator account. So if you click your credit card, you can put in your card number, Visa, all that stuff right here. Or if you have an e-check, you can click that and put in your banking information, your name on your account, routing number, account number, and then just double check and make sure always, if you ever get an error where your payment fails, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be your billing address. Your address does not match what's either on your credit card or your e-check statements. So make sure you double check that. Once you complete all that, you'll submit your cart and you will get a receipt to whoever is registered as that account holder. When it's time for you to come to sessions, you'll go to event registration. It's time for you to sign up for sessions, go to event registration, put in your youth, and choose a slot. And then you'll come over to sessions here. And you'll see a list of all the different sessions that they have. So let's say they're an Area of Light, you would select Area of Light 1, and then you could choose Earth Rocks 2, and then you could go to Game Engineer 3, and then you could go to Into the Woods 4, and that would build out their sessions. So then you would hit save, and if it tells you, it'll tell you if it's missing something. So it was missing a phone number for this fake account, and it would save it, and then that would get their schedules locked in there. So you'll see that. Now, if you are in a so Area of Light and Weeblos, they have their own programs. If you're in the Wolf program, you would just click Wolf, and that would be the only option you have. Or if you're in the Bear program, you'll hit Bear. And you can type in here at the bottom to find a program and hit save. Once you register all your scouts, you would then submit your cart, and that would lock in all of your classes for all your sessions.
It looks like we lost Nate. Here, Keith, if you want to talk a little bit about the program and such while we reconnect Nate, we'll let you do that. Adam, if you give that to him.
Sure. Looks like Nate is having technical difficulties. Keith is muted right now, and it doesn't look like it wants to become unmuted. There you go, Keith. You're good.
There you go. Okay, let's try that again. The resident camp guide on page 6 talks about our address. If you're not familiar with camp or you need to send materials to us once we have arrived at camp, which is in early June. Campsite arrangements, Nate has mentioned to you there. One of the things that certainly will help us is having the power to the sites for this summer. Correspondence is pretty standard. Medical forms. Every adult and every boy coming to resident camp needs to have a medical form, and it can be a Part A and Part B. It does not have to include Part C, okay? But it needs to be as complete as possible, but it does not require that the individual boy or boy or adult, go to a physician for a full physical. Transportation and parking, we want to encourage you to make sure that everybody is completely safe as much as possible when they're coming to and from camp. Having vans or having cars or a troop bus or what have you, that's all well and good. If you're using a passenger vehicle or a church van, please make sure that there are seat belts for every person in the vehicle and that everybody's buckled up securely there. Over on page 7, it talks about suggested equipment there. That's equipment for the pack to bring, like the pack flag, a lantern, other first aid kit, and things like that to have in the campsite. All those things are pretty handy to make note of. And then there's a list of personal equipment to bring. We would ask that the boys bring their Class A uniforms, that is their official Boy Scout or Cub Scout shirt, to wear there for the evening meals and at campfires, if they have them. That's what we'd like to see. If not, certainly bring the boys on. Don't let that slow you down there. And the tips section, it talks about a day pack. Certainly a day pack or a drawstring pack will help these boys as they move around through the camp in their different walking groups. That goes a long way there. We do not want boys wearing flip-flops or rainbows or sandals. Any of those open-toed shoes are a great way to have a boy get a foot injury, and thus it will not, prove out well for him to have a great week at camp. Please make sure that your boys, when they're walking through camp or even in the campsites, that they're wearing tennis shoes or little hiking boots, something that's got a closed toe and closed heel there. With heat and humidity, it's always advisable to have a change of clothes and have a hat to keep the sun off, sunscreen, and so forth. Pay attention to those things so that everybody has a great week. What not to bring to camp? Certainly, we'll have all the program equipment there available for everyone to use. We don't need anyone to bring their own archery equipment or their own BB rifles from home, any of that. Just leave those things at home. We'll have everything there in camp that you will need. Moving on over to page 8 and what to do when you get to resident camp. Just some basics there, safety and so forth. We have a health officer and a health office team that'll be there if there are any injuries. But when you arrive in camp, you'll go through the administration building, into your campsite, and then you'll do a tour of camp. And part of that will include a medical recheck at our program center. Our health office staff will be there to speak with the boys, speak with the adults, make sure of any injuries or anything that we need to be aware of or any medications that the boys are on so that we can make sure all that's handled appropriately during your stay with us in camp. Fire safety is always important. Most Cub packs like to have a fire in the evening. That's all well and good. But in doing that, make sure that the adults are supervising that and that everything is in good shape and all the fires are out before the pack, calls it a night after taps and wraps up for the evening. Let's make sure everybody is safe. In arriving, should also mention that we don't have anybody riding in the back of trucks or trailers. Everybody is in a passenger vehicle with seat belts in place. Nobody rides in the back of a truck, even with a camper top on. We want everybody to be safe coming and going at camp. The check-in at a glance is pretty straightforward there. I think we've covered most of that. On Sunday evening after dinner, we will have a brief leaders meeting just to kind of get everybody up to speed and make sure any questions or anything like that we cover there, and we introduce some of our key staff to you at that point. Following that, there will be a campfire down in the OA Arena, and we'll introduce the rest of our staff. That's the only campfire that we do during Cub Resident Camp, is that Wednesday night campfire. The Thursday night and Friday night, both those nights are set up for program for the boys. We started that a couple of years ago and found that to be very successful. It gives the boys more opportunity to participate in activities in the camp. Moving over to page 10, it talks about the camp tour. Each pack will have a staff guide that will take them around through the camp to make sure everybody's familiar with where they're going, and they'll have a map with them so the boys can learn the different processes and trails so they can be successful in getting from one place to the other on time. That goes a long way. There will be other leaders meetings on Thursday and Friday morning after breakfast just to keep everybody up to speed, and if there's any changes or questions, we will address those there. The quartermaster is a small building beside of our dining hall. They'll have trash bag liners as well as toilet paper and other essentials there for the packs to pick up after each meal. The tentage, generally speaking in the camp, we have 2-man wall tents that are available there for each boy or adult group to stay in. We also have some campsites that have Adirondacks, but most everybody will be in tents. And that works out very well. We've used this format for many years. We buy new tents to replace others over the year. And so hopefully all of our tonnage is in good shape and it'll be set up and ready to go when you arrive in camp. Every tent will have a cot or a bed in it for you to use to sleep on and a wooden floor there below you. So everything should be in good order for you once you arrive in camp. I've already talked about the uniform. In the dining hall, the dining hall at Raven Knob is situated as such that it's in 4 separate quadrants, and each quadrant will hold about 250 people. So we'll have you lined up and bring you into the dining hall in a format that you can find your table. You'll be seated at the same table in the same color group each meal throughout the week. Okay, so if you're at yellow table number 7, you'll be at that same table for the rest of the week. And that helps out with the logistics, particularly with younger scouts. Okay, the schedule is posted there at the bottom of page 11. It works out very well for our Cub Scouts, and we've had good luck with that for a number of years. The camp does use a bugle system on our PAs, and so there will be bugles that will play on and on throughout the day to kind of keep everybody on track. We do use Raven Knob Grace at several of the meals during the week. So if you want to practice that with your Cub Scout at some of your upcoming events, that would be great so they can participate in returning thanks there before we go into the dining hall at each of the meals. We have a commissioner staff that goes through the campsites each morning, visits with the pack leaders and makes sure everything is okay, helps them with any needs they have. We've got a great team of guys that'll be doing that. So be sure to meet your pack commissioner during your stay there in camp. There are shower facilities available at 4 separate shower houses in the camp. We also have a number of campsites that have showers, hot water showers in the campsite at the latrines. So there's plenty of opportunities to get a shower, and that's pretty refreshing there at the end of the day, and works out very well for all involved. In the evenings on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll have a Vesper service in the chapel. That's a non-denominational service that we have, and we'd encourage you to take your scouts and join us at Vespers. We work with wolf, bear, and webelos. If you have a boy that is in the 1st grade now and he's getting ready to be a wolf, that's what you want to register him as. He may be a tiger right now, but pretty soon he's going to be a wolf. As soon as he graduates 1st grade, he will then be a wolf. So that's what you want to register him for. Likewise for bears and for webelos. The advancement at camp is pretty straightforward. It's built on the Cub Scout regulations that are set up in the different rank requirements. We try to build our advancements for that, and our staff is trained to work within that scope. So we'll do the best we can with that over the course of the week to meet those requirements for certain achievements that the boys will work on while they're with us in camp. There are specific things that Webelo 1 do versus what Webelos 2. And so that way those boys have a new experience each of those years that they're with us in camp. Fishing is open at our 2 lakes. We'll have a brief safety talk on that to make sure everybody knows how to use their fishing equipment and everybody's safe when they're there in camp. We do have a catch and release policy, so please help us with that over the course of the week. The museum is open a couple of nights during the Cub resident camp, and if you've never been to the Raven Knob Museum, you've really missed something there. It is a wonderful facility, and the staff down there puts on a great program. You will certainly like to go down and take a look at that. We have a trading post that's open throughout the week, and you'll have an opportunity there to, if you left some items at home that you need to pick up, or you like some souvenirs from the camp, or just a cold drink, we've got all that there in the trading post waiting for you. And of course, we take debit cards as well as hard cold American cash. There are postal mail and email, all that we work with in our administration building, and Adam and Ian, the folks that work in the ad building, are geared to handle that. They have a system where we have mailboxes in the dining hall where you can pick up mail each day while you're there in camp. Visitors are welcome to come up as you check in or as you are leaving out on Saturday morning. We ask that anyone coming to camp, please adhere to our driving policies and drive very slowly in camp, since we will have a large number of boys in camp. We would appreciate that. We ask none of the boys be throwing rocks or anything along that line. We want to keep everybody as safe as possible while having as much adventure as possible. Okay? Very good. At At this point, I think that kind of takes us through most of that. There is a buddy system that's in place. The buddy system is set up to protect the boys and make sure they find their way back to a campsite and that they're on the way to and from activities, that they've always got somebody with them. So if you can help us with that, that will go a long way. If you don't have enough leadership in your pack, we will put you together with other packs that do have enough leadership. It's not unusual at all to have several small packs share a campsite and share leadership. So don't let that be a stumbling block for you. We'll work with that as we get you placed. May Smitherman and Donna Malden do a wonderful job of putting together this program each year. May takes care of a lot of the administrative things, and that's one thing she will pay attention to as she's getting the packs sorted out in different campsites. Donna Malden's got a great program lined up. If you didn't see the cover there, the Hawaiian Luau is our theme this year, and we're getting ready for that. If you've got Hawaiian shirts your boys want to wear, or you want to wear, that would be great. Come on up and enjoy the theme, enjoy the program, and we'll have a wonderful time at Raven Knob. At this point, I'll turn it back over. Adam?
Sure. Thank you, Keith. So before we get started with Nate again, I just wanted to share my screen real quick and share a tool for all of our leaders out there. So you can go to our page, ravenknob.com, and if you go under registration, you will see that there's a section for Cub Scout Resident Camp that you can go to, and it will tell you lots of information, including the dates, some frequently asked questions, and then the link to some guides about how to guide your way through the registration process, and you can access the Leader's Guide there as well. So it's a really useful tool you can go to easily see the pricing, the registration schedule, and all of that. And if you have any questions, you can always ask us using these emails right here, registration@ravenknob.com and cubcamp@ravenknob.com. But at this time, we'll give it back to Nate Todd, who will continue with our registration portion.
Sorry, I got disconnected. Not sure what happened, but we'll go back over some of the stuff I missed. So when you log into your account, your home, you'll log in on your home tab. Some of the stuff we'll want to make sure that you check for us is when you go into your profile tab, double check all this information, especially this primary information right here, because that is what will tell us, that's who we will contact if there's any questions. And if you need to update your user account or anything, you can do that here. Your roster tab, if you're an Old Hickory Council unit, we have updated your rosters with the latest data we had, which was, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So all your scouts in your pack should be in your roster. If they are not in your pack, oh, thanks. Thank you, Evan. Let me just share my screen so you can see that. Sorry about that. So on your home tab here, go to your profile tab. Like I was saying earlier, check all your primary contact information to make sure that's all correct. That's how we contact all y'all if we have any questions or anything. And that's also who we send emails to. If you put in a secondary contact up here, they will also get contacted. Your roster tab, this is where you should see all your scouts in your pack. If you're an Old Hickory Council unit, like I said a minute ago, we've already updated your roster with a week or two, the latest data from a week or two ago. If you need to add a new scout, you could just go here, put in anything that has the red asterisk. Those are required fields, so those will have to be filled out before you can add them. So add that to your roster. If you're in event registration and you're trying to add a scout, but you don't see him on this list, that means he is not in your roster. You need to add him to your roster first. Once you add him to your roster, he will show up here. If you start out and you say you're bringing 10 scouts, and then all of a sudden, 5 more decide they want to come, you don't have to contact us. You can just go into your account, hit change registration, and increase your amount to 15 scouts, and you're set. And let me talk a little about fees. Adam, did we have any questions before I go back to the fee thing?
I don't think so. I think Keith has addressed the questions that have come in so far.
All right, let me talk a little bit about the dates for this. So right now, obviously, you can go register Base registration ends on 5/23/17. So you can make changes up until that date. Any changes after that will have to go through the admin team, and you can send those to registration@ravenknob.com. And so that will be a lot when you can make those changes. Your $50 deposit per scout is due by April 25th, 2017. If you need to change it after that, that'll have to also go through the admin team. Adam mentioned earlier about that guide on the website. There is a step-by-step guide where you can print that off and walk you through the registration process with Tenaroo. The guys, Adam, Evan, myself, a couple others, we're more than welcome, happy to help you out with registration. And so that's why we have that registration@ravenknob.com email, and we'll walk you through all that. We can email you back, contact you, call you if we need to help you get registered. So any registration related issues, registration@ravenknob.com. Because if you call the council office, they're probably going to tell you, hey, you need to talk to the registration team. And so that'll just save you a step by automatically going to registration@ravenknob.com, and we'll contact you back. So I'm going to turn it back over to Adam or Evan, and then they will do their magic.
Very good. Thank you, Nate. I haven't seen any other questions come in. So if you are one of our viewers and you have any questions, you can feel free to submit those on the live chat feature on the right side of your screen from the YouTube page, or sending an email to registration@ravenknob.com, which I don't see any coming in right now. So I would just say that Cub Scout Resident Camp is always a good time at Raven Knob, and although we primarily have a lot of our in-council folks there, if you know folks from outside of the council who would like to join us, they're welcome to do that. They can just email us at registration@ravenknob.com, and we can get them set up. And then, of course, if we need to add folks over time, if you have folks who join your pack over the next few months, we will be able to set them up as well. There's a kind of a trail for everybody to go through at Cub Scout Resident Camp, no matter where you are in the program. I'm not seeing anything come in. Keith, do you have anything right now?
I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Excellent. Nate or Evan?
I'm good. Just registration@ravenknob.com if there's any questions.
I haven't seen anything come in either, so you should be good.
Very good. Well,
Thank you, folks.
we appreciate everybody joining us. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot us an email and we'll get back to you promptly. We hope you have a great night. Thanks for coming in.